the two or three important things that I took from what you said before I start talking about something else. One, the issue of targeting. That's a great point, and it's very rarely that we begin talking about it. It's very important that she brings it up, and I'm sure some of you take that. How do we identify the poor? And you explained that really well. Someone was arguing this, saying that, look, today it is so simple to identify the poor. Ask somebody for their cell phone number, and that's not poor. Right? So you can then knock out everybody who has cell phone numbers. So you get 780 million people outside that system. The little problems, the two issues that I had with you, one, and so also with Ms. Sayyeda Hamid, you will find that one of the issues that we don't talk about when we talk about health, social development, etc., is this entire issue of women and family planning. There is no mention anywhere. Just to put it into perspective as to why I say that, some simple calculations: 40 million pregnancies a year. Of those 40 million pregnancies a year, anemia, whatever, you have 13 million dying, so 27 million live births. Of the 27 million live births, take a guess, how many are unwanted? 15 million, more than 50% are unwanted. That access to contraception, access to spacing just doesn't exist. It's a great issue, but we don't, and thanks to what we did 50 years ago, we still don't talk about it. So that's the one serious issue that is missing. The one issue that you did point to, but because you didn't have time, you didn't go into it as much as I would like to, is the vaccination issue. Remember, she gave you this fascinating slide on how polio has been successful and how DBT has been terribly unsuccessful. Again, a simple, a simple tweetable comment: 50% of vaccines in the world are manufactured in India. Right? We are a great country. We manufacture the cheapest, best drugs, though some of us don't do it very well and get hauled up in the US courts. But 50% of vaccines in India, of the world, are manufactured in India, and 50% of India's children are not vaccinated. You saw 55% prevalence rate there. New vaccines, none at all. We keep talking about rotavirus and so on, some of us, and the rest is caught into such controversy that we can't go further on that issue. Let me quickly now take the 3-4 minutes that I have. The big issues that in the last 10 years, we have 3 states that have more than 100 million or more than 10 crore of population. So the issue that I talk about, are smaller states better? And I come from the discussion that we are having on Telangana. Look at urban population. The West is urbanizing much faster than the East is. What explains this pattern? The West urbanizes much faster, but the East has lower fertility rates. Andhra, Orissa, West Bengal do much better in lowering population growth. Is there a role that migration plays? Why is it that states that have traditionally large out-migration also have very large densities of population? Are we not mobile populations? And therefore the issue that Nisha points out, do we have the money? And of course the answer always in the last few years has been that we don't have the money, and therefore the percentage of GDP spent will stay where it is. The per capita health expenditure, again Nisha pointed it out very articulately, but look at what India does. That light blue is public spend, and that greyish blue is the private spend, and you will find that while we spend very little of our money on health, most of it comes from the private sector. The reason I show you this chart is just look at South Africa, Mexico, Russia, Brazil. Right? I'm not comparing us to any of the developed countries or the rich countries, but take our own partners, and the difference is stark. So why is India such a big problem? Look at that line there, 20% of births in India, but every other thing disproportionately higher. Higher maternal death, higher neonatal death, higher low birth, higher degrees of malnutrition. That great point in fact that Sonal raised, that what we have is some sort of a secular malnutrition, that the rich and the poor both are undernourished. Look at UP, Bihar, very badly, do very badly, all of you know that. My worry is Maharashtra, Gujarat. Why do these states do badly? Bihar, the story is writ everywhere. You keep talking about why Bihar does badly, and if you compare Bihar to the rest of the country, you know that it does terribly poorly. The good news that Sonal talks about, everybody has cell phones. Can we use that? I'm not going to talk, I wanted to talk a little bit about that, but I'll leave this for later. The same issue with sanitation. We now have increasing access to toilets, but very few people use them. Why that happens, we don't know. But again, that's something that is not in the discourse anymore. The chart here again, I want to keep repeating this point, that I am in some sense okay with UP and Bihar doing poorly, but why are Gujarat and Maharashtra doing poorly on everything? On everything, on anemic women, on unmet need for family planning, all of that. Therefore, my last point, this is what India looks like. My favorite photographs, the NASA photographs. You see where the lights are, and you see where the darkness is. You see where we are green, and you see where we are brown, and therefore, no surprise that we killed 15 people yesterday or 25 or whatever. Thank you.
Amir, thank you very much for closing on that brilliant note. Very useful. Thank you.